Welcome to Sam's Russian Adventures. I'm Sam, an English guy living in provincial Russia. Now today we're going to be walking around Vladimir and speaking to people about a new, kind of new, series that's out in Russia. Today's mission, slightly different. Don't fall over. Very, very slippery. So over the last few weeks, everybody in Russia has been going crazy about the new series on TV called A Boy's Word, or Слово, пацана. This is a TV series set in the mid to late 80s and up to the collapse of the Soviet Union.
А чё в нашу контору пришел?
3 рубля.
А не принесешь, будет 4.
Да надоел быть чушпаном. Хочу с пацанами.
Ты его привел, ты с ним и вставай.
Спасибо.
Пацан теперь с нами.
За рожку заплатить бы. 3 рубля легковушка, так наша дорога. Когда вернулся, вижу. Зубы на нас точат.
И тут вы такие.
Налетели на ровном месте пацанов, отмудохали ни за что.
Мы улица. Мы одни в этом городе люди.
Со стороны черт знает, что происходит, и у вас в голове такой же бардак.
Я тебя этому учила! Нельзя воровать!
Они нас поодиночке сейчас будут вылавливать.
Старший кто? Я. Говно на палке. Пацаны, вы поймите, здесь сейчас сильно очень все поменяется.
Я что, отец скоро?
А что ты дрожишь-то стоишь?
Ты, мать, с ума свел.
Думаешь, твои пацаны спасут тебя, когда тонуть будешь?
Вы их всех в землю втопчем.
Теперь запомни, ты теперь пацан, ты теперь с улицы, а кругом враги.
Ты здесь спрячешься, да? Ты здесь спрячешься, да? Можно я к тебе на секунду? Смотришь сериал это «Слово»? Да.
Нет.
Не смотришь? Серьезно? Почему нет?
Слишком много вокруг него всего.
А, да?
Я попозже, когда все успокоится.
А ты слушала это слово, которое говорят «чушпан»?
Шпан.
Да.
Слушай.
And it focuses on the teenage gangs that started to appear in the mid-80s as the Soviet system was collapsing. Very, very interesting. I've heard lots of stories in the past about these gangs that would meet and fight in the 80s and the 90s, but to finally see like a TV series about it, very, very interesting. Слово пацана, коррупция. Да, серьезно? А почему так?
Как все кино наше российское современное. Это не искусство.
А, да? Ну ладно. So I literally binge watched the first 6 episodes over the last 2 days, and really, really cool. Like, really cool just to see kind of like, obviously it's fictional, but to see how life was back then. And it must have been a crazy time for the older generation when the Soviet system was collapsing, and you know, it was complete chaos and people didn't have money, and I can imagine it must have been really, really difficult for those who had power, for those who were used to the Soviet system, like people working in the police, because in the past people respected each other. There was a system, there was a rule of law, and that kind of all just started to collapse. Не смотрела? Почему?
Все говорят про него, а я как не дойду до этого.
А, ну ладно, смотри, надо смотреть. Давай. people talk about the attitudes of the younger generation always not having respect for the elders. Well, during the Soviet Union, the younger generation had respect for those in authority, for those in power, and there was a kind of rule of law and an automatic respect for people like teachers and police and people that were higher up in authoritative positions. But in the late 80s, that all just disappeared and people just didn't care, and wow, it's really amazing to see what it would have been like, and it would have been pretty awful to live at that time in the Soviet Union. The gangs, just like anywhere else in the world, were pretty much divided by territory. So one area would fight against another area, they would control that area, and there was a set of rules for people that took part in these gangs, and that was called the word of the boy, because they weren't men yet. The word of the boy, as the series is called, Слово, pацana. So if you were part of the criminal gang, then you were pацan, you were a boy, a part of the gang, and if you weren't part of the gang, then you were chushpan. Chushpan was the local phrase for the geeks, the nerds, the people that weren't part of those criminal teenage gangs in the Kazan area. This is a word specifically for the Kazan area, and it's something now that's probably going to get used loads in Russia, in modern Russia, because chushpan seems to be the new cool word that everyone wants to say. Whenever I see my friends, I'm like, hey chushpan, just like joking that you're a geek, a non-gang member.
Да, нормальный сериал. Ну не, ну детство, наше детство.
И это слово, это чушпан, это ты это использовал раньше или это просто как сейчас?
Нет, ну чисто такой вариант татарский в Казани.
Да? So I really enjoyed it. I think it was incredible. It reminded me a lot of Brigada, a series that was made in the, I think, early 2000s that is like a criminal drama set in the 1990s in Russia. It's really cool to watch. There's 8 episodes altogether. I've watched 6 of them so far. I can't wait to watch the other 2. I'll put the link in the description below the video so that you can watch them. I don't know if you're able to get access or not. You don't have to register, it's all completely free, but it's a Russian site, so whether or not it'll be blocked in your country or not, again, I don't know. I'm not sure about subtitles either, because it's like brand new, right? So it might only have Russian unless you have some sort of site that you can watch it on that will allow you to put subtitles. But I really recommend it. The soundtrack as well, the different songs you'll hear throughout the episodes, really cool, and just generally I really enjoyed it. So I thoroughly recommend you to go and watch it. So I bought these new winter boots to wear just when I like walk across fields like this, or I go to the dacha to my friend's house and things like that. And I was saying to one of my friends, look, they look like the worst shoes you've ever seen in your life, right? And my friend was saying to me, no, they're really modern, they look really good, why do you think that? And then we were both walking a day later and we saw what seemed to be like a homeless guy, and he was wearing the same shoes.